Hey, Dean. Today we're going to talk a little bit about composting. Does anyone know how composting in Mississauga, Ontario affects our local water issues? Watch this.
Most of you probably think that composting has nothing to do with our local water issue. Our class is here to share that information that we've collected over a course of a month. That's about composting, water, and what we can do to take action.
Let me explain how composting is related to some important issues. When organic materials are sent to the landfills, over time the piles are compacted and release methane and greenhouse gases, which relate to global warming and are causing our glaciers to melt.
When regular fertilizer gets to our waterways, it can destroy entire ecosystems.
Our plan is to introduce composting into our homes, school, and community.
To commence our action plan, we first had to get the okay from our parents.
Can we get a composter?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Now that we've introduced composting into our homes, our aim is to introduce them into schools.
Anyone know where this goes?
We even interviewed our principal to see what she thought about composting.
I think composting is a great thing.
You might wonder why it's better to use composted fertilizer instead of regular fertilizer. Well, if you use composted fertilizer instead of regular fertilizers, your garden will be easier to maintain. For example, composted soil retains moisture so you don't have to constantly water your plants. A pound of composted soil can hold up to 33 pounds of water. It also suppresses plant diseases and improves soil texture, structure, and aeration. Not to mention, it's free! Start with a layer of garden soil, then add browns like leaves and twigs. After that, you layer on your food scraps, a dry layer, then a wet layer. After the layers are complete, finish it off by adding nitrogen-rich materials such as lawn clippings or kitchen trimmings. These are your greens. Finally, make sure your pile is covered and that you occasionally water and turn as well. Add more compost when necessary.
Now you know how to compost, here are a few don'ts. Don't compost oil, bread, sauce, dairy products, nuts, fish, meat, or bones. They attract pests. You can't compost feces or weed, unless you want a garden full of weed. And finally, don't use anything with chemicals, such as treated wood products. Like we mentioned earlier, sometimes store-bought fertilizer can kill whole ecosystems. This is because
Fertilizers have many nutrients. When fertilizer gets to the waterway, algae absorbs the nutrients of the fertilizer, and then they start to grow and reproduce. They then float to the surface, blocking the sun from getting to the other plants in the oceans and waterways. Once these plants die, bacteria starts eating them, meaning they are also reproducing quickly. They then start to eat the oxygen in the water, and many fish die. And this is the water that we drink. We thought it would be nice if we could help other people in the process of helping the environment. We organized a bake sale and made over $200 in profit. All that money is going to GeoLife, a foundation that gives clean water to people that don't have the same luxuries in life as we do.
now that you got caught up with the compost, get a composter, tell your friend, and just spread the word! If we can work together, we can save the water.
Okay, now, who can tell me how composting can save our water?
Drop.